Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Friday, August the 27th. The year's 2021. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap up. Just so you know, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And we look at the weekly chart. All the gaps have filled. 153 pips above the weekly open. 10 pips off the high, 163 4 off the low. Very interesting day here. Let's take a look. You see, we open below the high of the opening range, which was the opening day for the year, right here, that opening range. Notice we also open below the high, the opening range for the week. And you can see what happened. We broke out below the previous day's low, turned right back around and shot through and broke out above the previous day's high. So simple horizontal line trades. Now there was some news today. I guess the Fed chair spoke, and we had I think the consumer prices came out. In fact, Walmart and I were on the phone, and we watched the pound go crazy during that time. I'll get into that in just a little bit here. We're 129 pips above the yearly open. But notice, we've got 2 trading days left in the month, and we're 126 pips below that monthly open. We actually broke out of that inside bar range that happened 25 bars ago. And if you notice, there's a lot of inside bar action here. We're at 101 pips range for the day on the pound. And you see there's some other pairs above 100. I believe yesterday we didn't have any pairs above 100. Or was it the day before? On the hourly, you can see we took out the pivot. We opened the day below. So simple buy zone trade, take out the pivot, make your pips. We're 54 pips above that pivot at the moment. You can see we're in the rat zone. Range is definitely large enough. And it's just we're meandering right now. Don't know if price will pull back out of that rat zone. We'll just have to wait and see. We went through yesterday's high at 67 just this hour. Once again, we took out that pivot. And we can see here we took out the pivot once again, and we hit the weekly and we hit the monthly. And we've been showing that all week. So this month at 138.49 right here, we have a missed pivot. And you can see we took out that missed pivot today. So for the pivot traders, once again, sometimes you have to wait a few days if you miss it. And if you can take the heat, have your position sized accordingly, you can ride it out for a few days if you want to take that trade. You can see here we exited the upper wick zone, yesterday's upper wick zone, right there, this hour. We might go on to make a new high, or we might reverse back down and through. The range, 173 pips for the weekly range at the 41 percentile. About 100 pips off, a little over 100 pips off of what last week did. So the week, we're going to have an inside bar most likely. we didn't break out of the high, and we didn't break out of the low, hence inside bar. 7 pips off the weekly high and 167 pips off the weekly low. So green rats feasted. In fact, if you take a look back here, we can go back to the daily. So this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. See here, we didn't break out. We turned right around and just took off. So looks like the weekly low happened on a Monday and the weekly high happened on a Friday. And just looking at some of the price action here, let's go back to the 1 hour chart. Walmart and I, we were watching this, and right at the open, price just dropped 20 pips. It's like, holy cow, what happened? And it turned right back around and ran up to 37.80, 63 pip range on that hour. So, I mean, you could definitely have made your pips in that hour. And then the second hour was almost as nice at 29 pips, but just steady inside bar. So taking the breakout of previous high gave you 7 pips right here. And you can see we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 green H1 candles in a row. So it's time to start looking for that buzzard reversal. And I believe yesterday when I was making the videos, I can't remember where price was. I think it was somewhere around here. And I had called out that 3,700. Then I said price should probably come back down to 3,700. And it was just one of those things, just looking at the chart, seeing how price is moving. And just showing these, so what do I see now moving forward? Well, I see this 29 pip candle here. So I would look, let's see if we can get open 45. So I'd be looking for price to come back down to 45. Not necessarily today, but possibly come Monday. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens. For the Bitcoin traders, you can see we broke that highest low, but now we're right back to it. So anybody just trading the wick zone, you see here, it didn't put in a new low. So right there at the open, when it came back to the open, if you wanted to jump back in the trade, that would have been the trade, and you just have the stop loss under the previous day's low, and that would have paid off in a few dollars. I'm going to have to do something about this Bitcoin because that number's not quite right. I don't remember if I made a modification in that or not. No, I'll have to take a look. But once again, just simple price action, trading the cryptos. But let's see, where did I want to go? I'm just back to the regular Walmart pairs. It's very interesting when you look at these charts sometimes and you say, well, what can I learn? What can I apply the next time? Well, usually it's the same simple fundamentals that have been around for years, long before I was even on the planet. So, I mean, we look at higher highs, higher lows. We look at inside bars. We just look at, trading with the candle color at the horizontal line. These things just happen over and over and over again. And the problem with trading is that you can have the exact same setup. And one time you get a win, and one time you get a loss. And you just have to understand that about the market, because you don't need to change anything. It's just that sometimes you are going to lose. But it's so hard for us as humans, us as traders, to accept that fact. We want to fix it. We want to make it so we don't lose. And that's where we usually wind up making things worse. So, if you drill down, say, to the 5-minute chart here, and you see price hit that high, and you maybe picked up a couple of pips, then you tried it again, and then it came back down the other way, and then you're like, maybe you stopped out here, and you tried it again, and you just got a couple of pips, and you exited, and then maybe you said heck with it, and then all of a sudden, of course, it runs up, and that's where you would have made your pips. But even here, I mean, even if you took 2 pips there, here, did you take a loss? Let's see. And if you took a loss, why did you take a loss here? I mean, because between here and here is only 8 pips. How tight was your stop? And then here it came back and gave you another chance. If you didn't take that loss, you could take in profit. And then here it came down. It's like, well, wait a minute. It was red at the line, but it was green at this line, so it gave you a chance to get in. It proved itself. And you can see right here when you look at the chart, you put the cursor right there, you see it broke that high, but then it never got below that high again. And so it's just these little things that you can look at on the chart, and you can read the chart, and maybe that'll help you stay in a trade, avoid a trade, or actually take a trade that you should be taking. But you have to read the chart and determine how it's going to work for you and your trading. People talk about styles of trading. I mean, well, I'm a this trader, or I'm a that trader, a swing trader, a scalper, or whatever. The thing is, none of that matters what you call yourself. Once you get in the trade, you're in the trade. And either the market smiles upon you and gives you an opportunity to take profit, or you have to decide how much loss you're going to take on that trade. And that's something you should decide ahead of time, not after the fact. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a profitable week. Hope you're having a profitable month. I wish you a fun and safe weekend. And when you come back here to your trading platform, always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. And before you go, please hit that like button to help with the YouTube algorithm that I hear all these other YouTubers say. And then maybe I'll get a few more views. So, this is TheRumpledOne, over and out.